Right, our fourth and final topic is about James Gunn. Big up James Gunn, shutting down Steven Soderberghs, who I usually like. But he made some stupid comic book movie claims as well. And so James Gunn is shutting him down with the claim that Soderbergh made that superhero movies are sexless. Where he says people aren't fucking, and James Gunn has gone on and said some people are fucking. So this comes to us via IndieWire. And it says the Guardians of the Galaxy director listed a slew of other Marvel and DC filmmakers who aren't afraid to show superheroes getting down and dirty. Well, it seems like Steven Soderbergh hasn't watched James Gunn's films or Amazon Prime Video's The Boys for that matter. Yeah, The Boys ain't messing around. The Magic Mike director recently told the Daily Beast that he could never direct a superhero movie due to the complete departure from reality, especially when it comes to a lack of adult sexual relationships on screen. For me to understand the world and how to write and supervise the writing of the story and the characters, apart from the fact that I can bend time and defy gravity and shoot beams out of my fingers, there's no fucking, Soderbergh said. Nobody's fucking. Sorry to swear, but this is exactly what it says in the article. I don't know how to tell people how to behave in a world in which that is not a thing. Soderbergh added, the fantasy spectacle universe, as far as I can tell, typically doesn't involve a lot of fucking. And also things like, who's paying these people? Has he not watched Falcon and Winter Soldier? You see this? Anyway, who do they work for? How does this job come to be? Now, the Suicide Squad director James Gunn called out Soderbergh's claims, tweeting, with all due respect to Steven Soderbergh, some people are fucking. Alongside a collage of Guardians of the Galaxy, the Suicide Squad, and Peacemaker sex scenes. Gunn added, me and Zack Snyder and Richard Donner and Chloe Zhao and Tim Miller, off the top of my head, are the exceptions. But to Soderbergh's credit, sex seems to be non-existent in many comic book films, so it's not like his statement is groundless. To Gunn, showcasing sex isn't necessary in any single story, albeit does add to the world building. But to have an entire antiseptic sexless film universe is a denial of who we are as human beings and how every single one of us got here, Gunn wrote in a Twitter thread. The Suicide Squad was rated R at writer-director Gunn's urging. In fact, the rating was part of his deal to return to DC. I said, it's going to be R-rated because it's like a war film. I have a big aversion to war films or gun films where people are getting shot and they're getting thrown back and it's just the impact, but no real repercussions to the violence, Gunn said. I hate that kind of stuff. And I'm like, the only way I can do this and not have it be R-rated is if I have them fighting a bunch of robots or something. And I don't want to make a movie with a bunch of robots. I want to make a war film. They were like, okay, you can write it R-rated. Aside for the gory violence, Gunn joked, we see lots of penises, but not much female nudity, which I think is funny. That's one of the reasons why we got an R rating. They just really let me do my thing. Which is true, if anyone has seen Suicide Squad.
Yep. See enough penis in that movie.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with these people, man. Seriously. Soderbergh as well. Like, one of the biggest directors coming out and saying some stupid... And even the article says, but it's not groundless. But here's the thing. So first of all, we do have sex in superhero movies, as we it's quite pointed out here. But second of all, it's just that. It's a superhero movie. It's catering more for the younger crowd. Why would you have a bunch of sex in it? Like, it doesn't... So are you telling me that you would not make a Disney movie then? Is that what you're saying, Soderbergh? If you were given the Wonga to make that kind of movie, you wouldn't make it. Like, you
What? Because Aladdin and Jasmine are not
are not
doing
banging
the
it.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. They're not doing the
And you forgot
horizontal
one as
aerobics.
well. Deadpool. They put out
Right.
a dildo in that movie, and Ryan Reynolds gets it out the ass.
I think that's the least of what they did in there. Right. So, Leon, what do you make of Soderbergh's claims, and what do you make of James Gunn's retort?
The claims are unfounded and stupid because, for example, Spider-Man. What we know how he feels about Mary Jane through the whole thing. What benefit would it give us to see them in bed having a sex scene?
Yeah,
None.
it doesn't add anything to it.
No. They've told me everything I need to know about that. It just doesn't add anything.
It doesn't add anything at all.
You know, Guardians of the Galaxy. What is the point? If it adds something, I'm all for it. You see that Matrix? It was about Trinity. It was about Neo, for example. All right, they're not superheroes, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But even like
It played a part. It played
yeah.
a part, and that was their vision of it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. I thought, I think you can still sell the movie without it, but I can see for some people
why that would be necessary.
You're showing a little connection and whatnot. But I just don't. I don't like seeing sex scenes for the sake of sex scenes.
Yeah, me too.
I don't like seeing it for the sake of it. Like anything for the sake of it. You put in a gay guy, why just for the sake of it? You put in a black guy, why for the sake of it? Like put it in because it matters, and it's part of the character and it adds to the story.
Yeah,
like
100%.
just stop. You know, I don't know. Like I'm just annoyed with it all, but. Gunn, I hear what he's saying when he's saying it's not completely unfounded because he's saying yes, all right. That's
Well, it wasn't Gunn. It was the actual article writer that was saying that.
yeah. So
Gunn's it on Twitter as well, though.
Oh, did he say that? Oh, okay.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's part of the world, but this is the MCU. This is a different world, and this is why we like Marvel, and this is why we like superhero films because it's not this world. It's
That's a good point.
alternate world.
That's a good point.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a good point.
If you want to watch kissing and whatever, go and watch Sex in the City, whatever. I don't know if it's in that.
But my thing is just I get what you're saying, but I'm tailoring it to what Soderbergh is saying. Because he's saying he can't direct a film because of that. But if that's the case, then you're saying you can't direct most films. Then that's basically what you're because most films don't have sex scenes in them. Otherwise, most films will be rated R. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so that's what you're saying. Basically, you're pigeonholing yourself and saying I can't direct most films because there's no sex scenes. What kind of shoppiness is that? And you're supposed to be one of the bigger directors, you know, in this era. Damien, what do you make of all this?
First of all, to steal Leon's quote in line, why the hell did you direct Ocean's 11 then? Was there a sex scene in that movie? No.
Did he direct?
Yeah, it's the first one.
Right.
There was no sex scene in that movie.
Right.
And it didn't need to be.
They didn't need to be, no.
Because we didn't need to know that, you know, George Clooney was having sex with Catherine Zeta-Jones because we were enjoying the heist.
To know the stakes.
You know, and I got the foreplay between the two of them. I didn't need to see them, pardon the expression, but fucking didn't need it. So
Well, he says it enough times.
So we have to put a disclaimer on this video. We mentioned the F-bomb quite a few times.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as an actor personally, I've never been a huge fan of sex scenes. I think a lot of directors, and they can by all means come to this podcast and argue me to the face that I'm wrong, but you do tend to shoot, not all directors, but some directors do tend to shoot sex scenes and have some fun with it because at the end of the day, you make it out like it's porn. That's not what we're going to watch. You know, that's what some people go and watch a dark room by themselves. Fine. When we go and sit down and watch a film, I don't want to be uncomfortable during a scene, sat there with my partner. I'll be like, oh, great. She's in Missionary now. Brilliant. Let me watch it. No. I got no interest. Even when I saw, to be fair, even with Deadpool, I felt a little bit uncomfortable watching that scene in the cinema. I was like...
Yeah, but you weren't familiar with Deadpool. If you were, you would be expecting
I know it was going to happen.
But I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't at all. So I was like, that shocked me. But I've just never been a fan of sex for sex for just sex. Like, it has to move the story along. It has to be done in a tasteful way. I mean, certain actors have come out before. I won't name the actors, but certain big American actors have come out before, and even a few Scottish actors have come out before. Big guys, probably give too much away there, but I've said that they want to see more sex on screen. I am not from that kettle of fish. I just don't buy into it. Especially as someone that at the time when I was in a relationship, I would never want to even kiss another actress on screen because I felt uncomfortable. So when people really indulge in it and the breast is out and the man's all over it, I'm like, no, why? I don't see that on screen. I get the interest. I get the love interest to see that. You can show me a cutaway of you walking out of the bedroom next morning with a towel around you and a smile. I'm done.
Right.
I don't need to see you rubbing up a leg for 5 minutes.
And the thing is, that goes for anybody. Like, because I would say the same of anybody that wants to be any sex scene. And that's man, woman, this, that. It's anything. I don't need to see it.
I don't need to see it.
I don't need to see it.
No.
Unless it adds something to the story.
Yeah, like you said, it moves it along.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll give an example of where they made a wise decision to, and you'll be surprised at this, they made a wise decision not to include a sex scene, even though either they filmed it or it was in the script. Blade 2. They were gonna have him have a sex.
Vampire.
Yeah. They were gonna have a sex scene between them, and when I read that, I was like, "Oh, thank God they didn't put that in because that would have ruined the movie for me. That would have ruined because the sexual tension between them in that movie worked. You didn't have to see them banging. They wouldn't have added anything to me.
No.
Even when you remember when Whistler goes to him afterwards and calls him over and he goes, Blade, sounds like you're a bit confused about which side of the... Do you know what I mean? That's all you needed.
Like,
you see what I'm saying? Like,
love can be shown so nuanced. It can be a look, it can be a glance.
Like I said with Spider-Man.
Don't
Shown every Spider-Man that he is a caring, loving, she loves him back, blah, blah, blah.
You didn't need to see them
and they're not like sticking their tongue down each other's throat. It's just a nice kiss.
Right.
And to your point, it's like the audience we're catering for right now, superhero films, specifically Marvel ones, they have to push to get a 12 rating. They have to push. And then even then, they're slightly cutting their audience a little bit short. They don't want to be having, I mean, like, Eternals just about got away with that, but they don't want to have scenes that children are going to have to go and go, Mummy, what were they doing?
I don't want to have that conversation with my son.
No,
I
know it's a natural
I know he's really young
part,
for that.
I know it's a natural part of life, but at the same time, I don't want to see a 10-year-old coming out and going, yay, guess what I'm doing tomorrow in year 6 with you. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Well, you work with children, so you know how impressionable they are.
It's not happening. And I've seen year 4s have those conversations. No, thank you. So I just don't need that to be propagated out there.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah,
both,
they
man.
force the boyfriend, girlfriend. This is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do. I don't really want that.
I agree with both of you entirely. I think most sex scenes, I'd even go as far to say 90% of sex scenes do not need to happen on screen. It just does not need to happen. It's gratuitous. It's
when it becomes gratuitous. I think the only one I ever saw the meaningful and moved the narrative along was Meet Joe Black, and that was funny enough a PG or a 12.
I'll tell you another one. Terminator. That sex scene was necessary.
It was.
That sex scene was necessary.
Yeah, because that was the base and foundation of the whole franchise. Kyle Reese, Mum, O'Connor.
That was necessary, it just showed the feeling that what he was saying beforehand about him always loving her just from the picture, and we carrying around the picture. It showed all that. That was necessary.
It was necessary.
And you're right. Meet Joe Black. That was I thought that was necessary. I can't think of another one.
No,
seriously,
not off the top.
I mean, you made a point about Matrix. Okay, maybe
at a push.
Okay, but name me 10. Name me 10. I couldn't.
But then they didn't do it in every Matrix either.
No. It was only the second one.
It was only the second one, which out of 4,
it's
pretty good going.
You're
not forcing it. You know what I mean?
Man. Because I give an example where I felt every sexual scene or most sexual scenes were forced. Jessica Jones.
Yeah,
that and that was the heterosexuals and the gay stuff.
Equally,
it was all forced.
No point.
It was all forced.
Equally, no
even
point.
Even to the point when she was with Luke Cage, or that wasn't in Jessica Jones. No, it wasn't Jessica Jones. Even that seemed forced. Even that seemed forced.
Wasn't there one in Luke Cage as well?
But actually, do you know what? Funnily enough, I would say, knowing what Luke Cage is in the comics, although I would say Michael Cole didn't portray that.
That's what I'm going to say to you.
Right. But,
it was more Michael.
Right. But those actual sex scenes, I would say, was necessary. Because in the comics, Luke Cage is a gallus.
That's
Yeah.
his thing.
He's a gallus.
Yeah, he's a ladies' man.
But I think the only one you kind of needed to see was him and Rosario Dawson. Not,
Yes.
but it wasn't in Luke Cage. It was in the team up
Defenders.
Defenders, because when he comes, he's been away for a while. She's been away for a while, and it's that whole.
But I would say even the one he had with the cop was necessary because it shows what a gallist he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're not Misty.
Yeah, Misty.
Yeah.
Misty, right, yeah.
I would even say that was
I
necessary.
think I just didn't like him.
Yeah, I like him as an actor. I
Yeah.
just didn't think he was right for Luke Cage. Let me just clarify that.
You know who is right for Luke Cage?
You know, hashtag Larry for Luke.
But
Larry Cage.
yeah, please, yeah, man. But yeah, I agree with you two totally, man. I don't think Soderbergh has really made himself look silly with these statements because you know it's one thing talking about comic book movies, but as I've just said, most movies don't have sex scenes. So are you then saying that you can't direct most movies then?
And please go, if you know Soderbergh's movies, please go out in the comments and just list the Soderbergh movies that don't have sex scenes or even sexual chemistry. List them.
Right.
And then that just makes your argument fall down the pan.
So I'll be honest with you guys, and I'm sure you feel the same way. I'm just sick to death of these producers, directors, actors bashing comic book films for no reason. If you don't like them, that's fine. That you don't have to like them. But so what's with the constant bashing? And then you bash them for silly reasons. I don't understand it. And then you end up working in them. It'd be one thing if, you know what I mean? It'd be one thing if you bash them and you don't want nothing to do with them. Cool. But then we see Ethan Hawke in a Moon Knight. He was one of the ones that was bashing it. So I don't know. But you guys need to fix up yourselves anyway. But listen, guys, we've said our piece. What do you think about Soderbergh's comments? And what do you think about James Gunn's retort? And what do you have to say on the subject? Leave us your comments down below and let us know what you think. And with that, the show is over. Yeah, I did that just for him because I know he likes that. So, guys.
I like it. I just freak me out.
Oh, you like it?
Do you... You want to say anything to anyone?
Please like, share, subscribe. Help us grow the channel.
Please do.
That's it.
You guys are doing great. Please keep on supporting us.
Yeah.
And
I say the same thing. We know it's quite a lot of you that do check back regularly and you're still not subscribed. So please do hit the subscribe button because we see the audience. We know who we're attracting. And we know about 80% of you that are regular watchers and not hitting that subscribe button.
Speaking of regular watchers, we've bigged him up before on this channel, but we just want to big him up again. Big up Yemi, Babatunde. He's under movie buff now.
Movie buff.
There you go. But check him out. You know what I mean? Give him a little like.
He's doing his bits.
Yeah, man. But we see you, Yemi. Don't watch that. Don't.
Yeah.
We
got your back. We got your back.
Yeah, man.
Don't worry.
So please, as the guy said, please like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned. Notifications on for more content. We are pumping it out as much as we can. So yeah, stay tuned, and till then, see ya.